I grew up in a neighborhood where many people didn't have access to different things. Many of the kids that were my playmates were poor, and I had the advantage of going to school, having a meal every day, if I got sick, my parents could take me to hospital. So I grew up with a strong sense of knowing that I was very privileged because I had that advantage of having 3 meals a day, of having an education, and a kind of strong sense of injustice. I was like, what did I do to deserve this better life than other kids? So I got a scholarship from University of South Australia. Australia is very far from Kenya, so it was a strange decision for most people to understand. But I was just a teenager who wanted to be as far away from home as I could be, which is like the dumbest reason. The first year that I was in Australia, 2010, I went for Voices for Justice, which was organized by World Vision, and that was my really first encounter with advocacy work. So I got into that. I did more research, I did more learning about what happens at home, and made a group of networks who kind of laid the foundation for me to now found Food for Education. Started 2011 fundraising and founded in 2012. Food for Education basically exists so that children, first of all, have access to good, nutritious food while they're in school to enable them to learn and to concentrate. And then also to level the playing field for children so that a child who's born in a more privileged home who can stay in class and concentrate obviously has an advantage, but we want to bridge that gap for a child who has to decide, do I go beg on the streets today for food? In Kenya, we have 26% of our children who are stunted due to chronic undernutrition. We have 40% of our population who have malnutrition. So we want to bridge that gap by providing nutritious, healthy food to children so that they can stay in school and learn. So this is the restaurant. This is going to be the restaurant. What we're left with now is the roof and the floor. And this is the kitchen. So we're going to have 2 big jikos here. And then this is going to be the counter where people get food from. And that's the storeroom. You start a business because you see a niche. So we started this business because we saw a niche. We saw an opportunity to make money, and we found a connection that we have a big population that doesn't have a place they can eat that's healthy and that's clean, that they can sit down in and talk and chat, and we can provide that, and then we can use the profits to provide food for our kids. We are hoping to scale the restaurant model to target more community members, provide more nutritious food to people, as well as raise money for what we do. As we construct a new kitchen, which will be providing food to 1,000+ kids every day, we have factored in a restaurant. So this restaurant is more like a community restaurant where people will be coming in and eating like a normal restaurant, yet the profits will be going to subsidize meals for vulnerable children. I see myself as a young person who has the responsibility and the power to create the world that I want to see in 10 years. And I do not take that responsibility lightly. So that's why I invest in Food for Education. That's why I am a supporter of Hunger Free, because I believe that the next 10 years will be determined by our actions now.